Hello, my name is Tara Mortimer. I am in the MAT program for elementary education. I would like to share what I have learned from the book titled Setting Limits in the Classroom: How to Move Beyond the Dance of Discipline in Today's Classrooms by Robert J. McKenzie. The central premise of this text is that students will understand and respect the rules when you set clear, firm limits and support your words with effective action. I would like to share 4 main points included in this book that support this idea. The first main point is how important classroom management is to the success of your students. Behavior management is the hidden curriculum in every classroom. Although it does not show up in lesson plans, it requires as much or more time and energy to carry out. And without effective behavior management, a teacher cannot teach lessons effectively. The next 3 main points of the book focus on 3 common strategies for behavior management that teachers use in the classroom. These strategies are identified as punitive, permissive, and democratic. Let's take a closer look at each strategy. The punitive approach has been used throughout the history of education, and it is known for its predictability. Common beliefs of teachers who use the punitive approach are that if it doesn't hurt, children won't learn, children won't respect my rules unless they fear my methods, it is my job to control my children, and it is my job to solve my children's problems. The problem-solving process for this approach is known for being forceful. It is a win-lose approach where the teacher always wins. With the punitive approach, teachers do all of the problem-solving and make all of the decisions. What children commonly take away from the punitive classroom is that the teacher is responsible for solving all of the children's problems. Children also learn hurtful methods of communication and problem solving. Common traits of the punitive approach include shaming, intimidating, threats, and blaming. Now let's take a closer look at the permissive approach. This approach emerged in the 1960s and 1970s as a reaction to the punitive approach. Unfortunately, due to the lack of limit setting, this approach often backfires. Permissive teachers believe that children will cooperate when they understand that cooperation is the right thing to do. Permissive teachers also believe that their job is to serve their children and keep them happy, and that consequences that upset their children cannot be effective. The problem-solving process in a permissive classroom often uses persuasion to achieve compliance. Most often, children win power struggles, while teachers do most of the problem-solving. The author, Robert McKenzie, believes that permissive teachers are on the fast track to burnout. The permissive approach teaches children that their teachers are there to serve them and that they are responsible for solving all of their problems. This approach also teaches dependency, disrespect, and self-centeredness. Some common traits of the permissive approach include reasoning, pleading, bribing, and debating. Finally, let's review the democratic approach. The author, Robert McKenzie, believes that this approach is most effective in classroom and behavior management. A democratic teacher believes that children are capable of solving problems on their own, and that children should be given choices and allowed to learn from the consequences of their choices. The problem-solving process in a democratic classroom includes cooperation and mutual respect. Because the children are active participants in the problem-solving process, resulting in a win-win for all involved. When a teacher uses the democratic approach to solve behavior problems, children learn responsibility, cooperation, independence, respect for rules and authority, and self-control. Some common traits of the democratic approach include offering clear expectations, being respectful, giving students choices, and follow-through based on the choice made. I would also like to share 2 strategies from the book that will help teachers manage their classroom to keep the focus on learning. The first strategy discusses an effective way to introduce the rules of your classroom to the students. On the first day of school, the teacher should introduce the rules, post the rules in a visible area, describe classroom procedures for entering, exiting, and transitions, and describe procedures when rules are tested or violated. During the first 2 weeks of school, the teacher should continue to review the rules daily. Also, the teacher should set aside time each day to teach a new routine or procedure, such as lining up or carpet seating. Also, the teacher should expect testing and be prepared to follow through. During the first month of school, the teacher should continue teaching rules and procedures as needed. Also, the teacher should set aside time before or after school for practice sessions for students who may need additional help following the rules. Finally, schedule parent conferences for students who test excessively. The author suggests that setting time aside for the first month of the year to review and practice classroom rules and procedures will save teachers from a year-long struggle of enforcing them. The second strategy I would like to discuss focuses on the use of PAT, or Preferred Activity Time. Basically, the author explains how to use time to encourage positive behavior choices. Each week, have some time set aside that students can use for reading or games. This time can be awarded for on-task behavior and lost for off-task behavior. Often, preferred activity time is set aside at the end of the week. For example, Fun Friday. Finally, I would like to share my favorite passage of Robert Mackenzie's book. Most children don't ask questions with their words, but they do think about them, and they do ask them with their behavior. They just go ahead and do whatever we ask them not to do, and then they wait to see what happens. This is limit testing behavior, and this is how children do their research. It answers their basic questions more definitively than their words. Much of what we consider to be misbehavior in the classroom is actually limit testing or children's attempts to clarify what we really expect. Thank you for taking the time to learn about key concepts and ideas from the book, Setting Limits in the Classroom: How to Move Beyond the Dance of Discipline in Today's Classrooms by Robert J. Mackenzie.